She didn't take notes in class because the lesson was already her report. Professor Kelnvar noticed her immediately, not because she was loud, not because she disrupted the lecture, but because she didn't take notes. In a hall filled with scribbling appendages, flashing hollow tablets, and rapid transcription glands, the human girl simply sat there. Still, watching. The professor paused mid-lecture, crest feathers twitching in irritation. "Cadet," he said sharply, translator smoothing his tone, "are you malfunctioning?" Soft laughter rippled through the amphitheater. The human looked up. "No, professor," she replied calmly. "Then why?" Keln pressed. "Are you not recording the lesson?" This was advanced xenostrategy, a course that broke seasoned officers. Every word mattered. Every scenario was tested. The human, Cadet Mara Ionescu, tilted her head slightly. "Because I already know how it ends," she said. The laughter stopped. Keln's eyes narrowed. "You claim familiarity with multi-species conflict resolution?" he asked. "Yes, Professor." "From where?" he demanded. "You haven't accessed today's simulation." "No," she agreed. "I lived it." That drew murmurs. Keln tapped his console, pulling up her file. "Human. Non-augmented. No noble lineage. Transferred from a frontier relief division. Not impressive." "You will explain yourself," he said coolly. "Or you will leave." Mara stood. Not defensively, not arrogantly. Just ready. "The lesson is about asymmetric escalation," she said. "How small misunderstandings become disasters." Keln gestured impatiently. "And you're going to show a case study," she continued. "A mining dispute, 3 factions, 1 neutral authority that fails." She paused. "Everyone chooses the wrong priority." Keln stiffened. "That was the lesson plan." "Go on," he said cautiously. Mara walked to the center of the hall. "You'll ask why negotiations collapsed," she said. "You'll say it was pride or fear." She looked around the room. But it was logistics. Confusion spread. Keln folded his arms. "Explain." "They ran out of water," she said simply. Silence. "That's not in the report," Keln snapped. "No," Mara agreed. "Because the report was written by people who evacuated early. A few students shifted uncomfortably," Mara continued. "The neutral authority assumed everyone would follow protocol," she said. "But one faction had civilians, kids, elders." Her voice didn't waver. "When the water shipments stalled, they stopped caring about treaties." Keln opened his mandibles to interrupt. "And when the first shots were fired," she added, "everyone pretended they didn't know why." She looked at him. "But I was there." The hall was silent now. Keln's crest lowered slightly. "You claim first-hand experience in a Class 7 dispute?" "Yes, Professor." "You were a combatant?" "No." She shook her head. "I was logistics support." That drew confused murmurs. "You delivered supplies?" Keln asked skeptically. "I fixed filters," she said. "I rerouted power. I listened." She met his gaze. "And when the water ran out, I watched what people chose to protect." Keln hesitated. "Continue," he said quietly. Mara gestured to the holoboard. "You'll show the tactical maps," she said. "Everyone will analyze troop movements." She shook her head. "But the moment everything broke wasn't on the map." She tapped a point behind the front lines. "A storage depot," she said. "Unmarked, civilian." Keln froze. "That location was classified irrelevant," he said. Mara nodded. "It was," she replied, "until it wasn't." She took a breath. "When the fighting escalated, I stayed," she said. "Because someone had to keep the generators running." A pause. "I watched soldiers from all 3 factions line up," she continued. "Not to fight. To fill containers." The room was utterly still. "They stopped shooting," she said softly. "Not because of diplomacy, but because they were thirsty and tired and human enough to recognize it in each other." Keln's voice was lower now. "And what happened?" Mara smiled faintly. "They talked," she said. "Not about borders, but about fixing the pumps." A few students exchanged looks. "That contradicts the official outcome," Keln said. "Yes," Mara replied, "because the official outcome says the truce failed." She looked around, but the fighting stopped. The professor slowly sank into his chair. "You didn't take notes," he said. "No," Mara replied gently. "Because the lesson was written in people." Silence stretched. Then, quietly, one student began recording. Then another. Keln cleared his throat. Cadet Ionescu, he said, voice measured. If I were to ask for your report. Mara reached into her pocket. She placed a small, worn data chip on the desk. I submitted it before the term started, she said. It's titled What Happens After the Map Ends. Keln stared at it. The hall waited. Finally, he inclined his head. Class, he said slowly. Today's lecture is amended. He looked at Mara. You may remain seated. She nodded and returned to her place. This time no one laughed. Weeks later, the council would circulate her report. Not as doctrine, but as required reading. And in the margins a quiet note appeared. Some lessons are not taught. They are survived. Mara still didn't take notes. She didn't need to. She was already the footnote everyone remembered.